1 minute. Do you have this left on? No. I don't think I can show it. It's a great mouth. Yeah. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we thank you for granting us the privilege to meet tonight. We ask for your blessing, wisdom, and guidance to conduct the business of the village. Amen. All right, roll call. Wheeler.
Yep.
Fisher.
Here.
Mercy.
Yeah.
Powell.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Cheney.
Yes.
Motion to approve the minutes of the 2025, August 2025, 2025 regular meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes of the August 25th, 2025 regular council meeting. Second.
Powell.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Mercy.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Cheney.
Yes.
Wheeler.
Great. Citizens' comments. Mr. Snavely.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello.
I have a few handouts here for you. Do you mind just taking one of each?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks for having me in again today. My name is Bob Snavely. I'm with Palmer Energy. I know many of you from doing this previously. We work with the Ohio Municipal League, of which you guys are a member, and this is the Ohio Municipal League Energy Program, so I'm here representing the OML as well today. We're going over, what I handed out to you are what are called, is a PJM capacity memo, and then RFP results for the new electric generation price for the aggregation. I think the way to go over this is to sort of explain the high pricing. I think everybody's probably aware, if you've turned on a television, that energy prices are going up, and so I figure go over that with you to explain why. It's a simple concept, but the why is a little bit more complex. Basically, we have a supply and demand imbalance. We have a ton of demand coming online for electricity, and we just don't have enough supply to keep up with the demand that we need. Everybody is probably aware of AI technology in one way or another. That is a huge user of energy, especially electricity. And everybody's probably heard of data centers. I'm sure in this area, there's probably been talk of data centers and so forth. Data centers are massive, massive users of electricity. So the average AI data center, so to speak, uses annually the equivalent of 450,000 households. So massive. You have 2 data centers that size, that's like the residential electric load of Columbus. Absolutely massive. And they're talking about bringing on, just in the Columbus area, I think they're talking about 5 to 7 data centers that are going to come online. And so when you have that kind of demand, you need a lot of supply. And that's where our issue lies. We do not have enough supply. We're working quickly to try to get that supply to catch up. That'll probably start with natural gas fueled electric generation stations and plants, but that takes time. To switch a coal plant to natural gas fired electric generation plant, you're talking 2.5 years. People have talked a lot about renewables. That's an issue that we're having right now. In addition to, what we really need is baseload generation, which is coal, nuclear, natural gas. It can be used 24/7. The issue that we're having with renewables is it's a great electricity source. Wind and solar are, as long as the sun's shining and the wind is blowing. If not, you need baseload generation. They don't produce electricity. At nighttime, a solar array is not producing any electricity. Now, if you incorporate a battery, that changes things, but that's not cost effective yet. So we're not there yet. Eventually, I think we probably will be. The issue is a couple of years ago, PJM, which is our grid operator, if you use electricity, you use PJM in our area. They were very uncomfortable with the possible basically black or gray out. Didn't happen, but the numbers were getting very close. And so this past June, what they did was, as part of their process and an equation to figure out how much electric generation they need to keep the grid going to avoid blackouts, they took renewables out of that equation. There's a fastest growing electric source right now are renewables, along with, everything's fast growing now, but it's a big piece of the puzzle. And to take that out just makes that supply and demand imbalance worse. What they're trying to figure out is how to calculate it, because to calculate what kind of kilowatt hours you're going to get out of a solar array or a wind turbine, you have to basically be able to predict the weather, which is very tough. And so without knowing that, they thought they had a calculation that was going to work, and it clearly didn't. And so this time around, they didn't include it at all in the equation. And so again, that creates a larger supply and demand imbalance. And so from what I just handed out here, you'll see the kind of increase in what's called capacity, which makes up about 35% of your per kilowatt hour price now. Now, we don't need to go into the details of this, but I think it's important to understand the kind of hike we're looking at. So if you actually flip to the back page here, you can kind of see historical capacity per megawatt day. We went from 2024, the per megawatt price was $29.50. Starting this June, it went up to $270.43. So almost a 10x increase. And due to the reasons I just kind of went over as far as that supply and demand goes. We weren't sure what the 25-26 capacity year, 26-27 capacity year will be, but they just came out about a month or so ago with that number, and it actually rose again to 329.17. The good news is they capped it at 330, so really can't go up any further than that at this point. The bad news is they got just about there. So when we're looking at, the reason I mentioned that is because when we're looking at these RFP results, you're gonna probably be a little bit shocked because the numbers are significantly higher than what we've paid in the past. However, we are still projecting savings versus the utility. So the wholesale market has gone up for everybody as a baseline. The utility still is going to be higher than the wholesale market. And so I kind of wanted to go over that first to give some reasoning behind why we've seen such a drastic increase in electric generation pricing. So before we get into the specific results here, does anybody have any questions on that?
No.
It's not a fun story to tell, but I think it's important to understand the background.
It was an avoidable, it's an avoidable situation, but that's neither here nor there.
I see what you're saying. So looking into specifics for West Lafayette here, we have an aggregation program that encompasses approximately 650 eligible meters, which makes up about 6 million kilowatt hours. And it runs through December our current price runs through December of 2025. The good news is the increase from the utility price to compare right now is about 10.5 cents. So the increase started in June, but our aggregation has been here for that time. Nothing's changed with that price until we get to December. Now, one of the issues we had, unfortunately, today was we were getting refreshed pricing from Dynegy, and Constellation is another supplier that's going to bid on this, and they had a technical difficulty where they got thrown offline and their systems were down, and so we had to put a hold on this. But we will be getting updated pricing from Constellation. Truth be told, although they're the current supplier right here, I don't know if they'll win it again. They haven't been as competitive as Dynegy, but we always like to give the incumbent supplier, an opportunity to win the business again. But as you can see here, we went out for different pricing ranges ending in December of 26, which would be 12 months, and then you go to May of 27, December of 27, and May of 28. Right now, we're recommending for all of our aggregation clients doing 12-month agreements, which we don't love to do 12 months agreements. We do this and we're going to turn around and just do it again. But considering where the pricing is right now and where the capacity market is right now, capacity is not going to stay like this forever. Eventually, our supply will start to catch up. Now, when that will be, what will happen, we're not sure. But locking in what is a market I've been doing this I think 13 years now, and this is the highest per kilowatt hour pricing that we've seen. As you can see on the back of that capacity chart, you see pricing go up and down. So it does come down. Now it hasn't gone up as high as it is now, but locking in a high price for a long term, if just commonsensically, you wouldn't necessarily do that. Now, that's not to say that at the end of this 12-month agreement, that the price is going to come down. It may not. It may hang out in that neighborhood. It may come down a little bit. It might even go up a little bit. But locking in a high price for a long period of time, we just don't think makes sense. So the way we look at this is we want to be able to beat the utility, which we're confident we can, but lock in that price for a short period of time with the hopes that we get this supply and demand imbalance a little bit more in control, so that when the next, what are we looking at, 27, 28 capacity number is cheaper than that 330. And so, as far as the energy side of things go, like I said, capacity makes up 35% of your per kilowatt hour price. The other 65% is your, call it the commodity, basically the electricity itself. That market is relatively average. So maybe a little bit on the high side. But most of this increase, the major majority of this increase, is due to the capacity increases. And that's something that no matter where you are, if you're in the state of Ohio, you will be paying, whether you're AEP, Duke, Edison, municipal electric. If you're connected to the grid, you're paying for capacity. Now, we're not going to start to pay for this until December, because we have our aggregation fixed price locked in through that time period. But when that contract comes up, these are the numbers that we're looking at. And so our recommended price right now, and again, we'll see what Constellation comes back with, but is the Dynegy 10-cent number, 1002 actually, for 12 months. Any questions? I feel like the Grim Reaper when I'm doing this. Every meeting lately, everybody's like, great. Unfortunately, I don't control the pricing or the capacity markets.
I actually understand exactly what you're saying. I work in telecom. I know what a data center is all about.
Well,
the logics. It's in Columbus. It's 3 buildings wide, and
so
it's up more than this county. So I understand that. So
okay,
that makes sense to me.
And the fact that it could come back down when the supply starts catching back up.
One of the things that PJM is doing right now is they're supposedly not going to allow new data centers to connect to the grid until they can prove that they're providing their own generation. In other words, if you're going to build a data center, you have to build a power plant too to fuel it, because we're not going to let you, come onto the grid. Now, there's already data centers that have been connecting or are scheduled to that won't, that are built into these numbers.
Yeah.
But new stuff, it's kind of bring your own generation. And the thought process is a lot of these are going to be natural gas fueled. It's going to happen. They're going to do it. In fact, they can't build them fast enough. But they're building the generation larger than what they need. And the idea is once PJM is satisfied with the amount of generation that they're producing, they'll connect to the grid, and then the excess capacity can go back onto the grid. So the hope is that, that happens, and then that excess capacity is going to really help the market and hopefully bring those prices down. But that's as far as how quickly that's going to happen, it's certainly not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen in the next 12 months. But, in the 3 to 5 year range, it's possible. Any other questions? The last thing we probably need tonight, because we want to try to move on this relatively quickly, is what we've done in the past is have the mayor be basically the designated signer. Because what we'll do is get refreshed pricing in the morning. It'll be very similar to the number that you see here. Obviously, if something strange happens that shoots the price up, then we'll reconsider. I'll get pricing in the morning, get updated recommendation. Obviously, Constellation's number will be in here for that as well. And then the mayor to be able to sign on behalf of the village would be great, because then we don't have to reconvene everybody, which I think, do you meet once or twice a month? Yeah. And from a supply standpoint, suppliers are closed now, so we'd have to figure that out. This is just generally the easiest way in what we've done in the past.
Make a motion to have the mayor as the designated signer for the contract.
I'll second.
Bauer,
Yes.
Cheney,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Percy,
Yes.
Wheeler,
Yep.
Fisher.
Yes.
Also, one last thing just to mention, some possible good news here. Your natural gas aggregation is fixed at 0.559 per CCF through November of 2026. That is good news because we're not till the winter yet, and that's cheaper than the utility rate currently. And the futures NYMEX market is even higher going out for the future. So a bit of positive news on the gas side of things. So
You can spend it all with that.
No.
you always want to end on a high note. It's not going to make up for it, but anyway, thanks everybody. Good to see everyone.
Mr. Maple, you want to speak or you just observe?
Yes, you go there.
Okay. All right, moving on to committee reports. Building and property.
We met tonight, we got a tree cut down at 320 East Main Street.
East Union.
Huh?
East Union.
East Union, okay.
One on Main Street, you put that back.
We'll put it back up
We're gonna
tomorrow.
move that together.
Preliminary citation was issued at 112 Main Street. And Suzanne Powell would like to see about getting the lot split into 2 different lots on George Street.
Okay. Business and development.
The West Lafayette Historical Society, or the museum, on Sunday, September the 7th, held their ribbon cutting. And on Thursday, September the 11th, they will be holding a troop train memorial at the site over here 70
The
years.
intersection. Is it the 75th anniversary?
Yes. That's it.
Okay. Community relations.
We want to thank anyone who helped with the cleanup day this past weekend. A big thanks especially to the Boy Scouts. They were a tremendous help. We reviewed the Eagle Scout project, the welcome sign coming into West Lafayette, and it's looking really good. We Are WL is sponsoring mums. They're for sale for $45 at Harmon's Treasures. And just a reminder that Halloween has been scheduled for October 25th from 5:30 to 7. Prior to trick or treat, there is a Halloween party at Ridgewood Middle School from 2 to 4.
And it's the $45 to sponsor the pots on Main Street. If they just want to buy it mom, I think it's $8.
Okay, sure.
All right. Community revitalization.
Yeah.
Okay, finance.
Finance met tonight, nothing really, just need to make a motion for August cash summary approval.
Motion to approve August cash summary.
Second.
What? Sorry, I was remembering.
Fisher,
Yes.
Wheeler.
Yep.
Percy,
Yes.
Cheney,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
All right, moving on to ordinance.
Ordinance, we discussed the TAP grant, it's gonna be discussed with our resolutions tonight. That is a grant to add a bike path through West Lafayette, mostly along Kirk Street. Ideally, it could eventually go from 36 to Hickory Flats. That would be tremendous, especially with some of the new bike traffic coming in and out of town. We also talked about resolution 2550, the energy fund grant. This is something that we're looking into for greener energy options for lighting and different functions throughout the village, from streetlights to possibly running pump stations and everything else in between. That is all tonight.
Okay, park board.
Oh, that's me. I know. Just one little notice, please do not move the picnic tables in the Rotary shelter. We'd like to keep them in the same spot that they're in. If you do, which is okay, move it back to where you found it. And also, please clean up the park and the shelter when you are done using it. That's it.
Planning commission local.
Nothing tonight, there will be a meeting coming up that will be posted. Yes.
County planning commission.
Nothing.
Public safety.
We talked about the soon-to-be installation project of the crosswalk, South Oak and West Sixth, right in front of junior high. Will begin in sometime in October. Also, was receiving complaints about speeding on East Union at the 3 blocks where there are no stop signs. Talked about the possibility of installing stop signs. A traffic study would be needed to be done prior to that. Get the feeling from the rest of the people who live in that section right there. It's a good idea, which I don't think anybody would be opposed to. That's about it.
Public works.
We talked about solar lights and panels and 2026 paving projects, which are going to be coming up. We talked about widening Water Street, which is still under consideration.
I can't let you.
This year's paving projects will start the last week of September, hopefully. And we talked about Ripple Lane and how we don't actually own part of that.
All right. Records retention, nothing, rules. Do you want to talk about the handbook there?
I'll speak to the legislation.
All right, moving on to department reports. Fire.
Okay. 12 calls for the month of August. run here. 2 were in the village, 3 calls in Lafayette Township, 5 in Oxford Township, 1 in White Eyes, 1 mutual aid call out of district. August 2025 fire loss was $30,000, which brings the year-to-date loss to $372,000. Looks like there were 156 and a half man hours put in total. Yeah, sorry, I don't usually read these. There's another total we usually read on here, I can't find it.
So we're year to date.
Yeah, the total year to date is $372,000 loss.
Maybe the cost August 2025 payroll.
Oh, wait, 156 hours must be for the year. 91 hours. That's what I messed up.
You found it.
I found it.
Good job. All right, fiscal officer. Just a couple of pieces of legislation that we have tonight. Resolution 2025-39 will receive its third and final reading tonight, and that is to accept the amounts and rates that were determined by the Budget Commission for the levies that will be in town this fall. Once that's passed this evening, I'll certify that to the county auditor and get that to them this week. Ordinance 2025-44, that will receive its second reading tonight, and that is to increase the limit of purchasing for projects that would go out to bid. We'll increase that from $50,000 to $75,000 before it goes out to bid, just to align that more with the state and federal guidelines. And the other one new tonight that I wanted to mention is resolution or ordinance, change that. 2025-49, and that is to amend the employee handbook. There are some new policies that we added to the handbook, policies that speak to substance abuse, second chance policy, employee personal development policy, and cell phone use. So all of those additions have been made to the handbook, and I will receive its first reading tonight. And those have been passed around for approval. Okay. Please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Patrolman King of the West Lafayette Police Department, and this will be the August 2025 monthly report. Calls for service, 890. Reports taken, 30. Felony arrest, 0. Misdemeanor arrest, 12. Juvenile arrest, 1. Traffic stops, 99. Citations issued, 10. Traffic crashes, 2. OVI arrest, 1. Warrant arrest, 0. Civil paper service, 0. Fuel used, $1,041.05. Is there any questions?
No, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Solicitor.
Through some more paperwork for the opioid settlements. I don't know if it will materialize, but we're sitting on that, $600, or was it 60?
Yes, $630, I think, but I think next year we might get $50, and the years after that, $5.
Sorry, you get switched to with that kind of money.
Oh, yeah.
Anything fun. Sounds like we might be looking at seeing if, I'll reach out to Attorney here about maybe dedication of this roadway that we don't know. And yeah, on some contracts that we that's about it.
We appreciate you. Thank you. Village Administrator.
Good evening. I have a couple of the resolutions I'll talk about, the new ones with our grants that we want to apply for. 2025-50 is the resolution authorizing the village to apply for the Ohio Department of Development grant for advanced energy funds. And that will potentially allow the addition of lighting at the parks is what we're hoping in solar and help save some money on the energy costs there. That's its first reading. And 2025-51 is a resolution authorizing us to apply for the TAP grant. It is the Transportation Alternatives Program through the Ohio Department of Transportation. And that is for infrastructure that would construct bicycle or pedestrian pathways along the state routes. So obviously the state route through the village. And we'd like to apply for a project through that will carry us on 93. So that one is, it's also first reading. One of the two is gonna get two, one's gonna get three.
It's
So,
it's
that's the end of those for tonight. And then I just wanna speak again on one of my favorite days of the year was last Saturday. We had great partnership with our Boy Scouts, our local troop. I think it's 419 is their troop number, and they were just fantastic workers helping unload cars and trucks and trailers of old carpet and furniture into dumpsters and scrap metal and things, and they were just great. So
Lafayette Township.
really appreciate that. I was gonna mention Lafayette Township donated one of the dumpsters, and thank you to them. And also Ed Myers, thank you to him for his bulldozer, and that smashes down the debris in the dumpsters and makes more room to fill up more, so it's a fun day.
Are you saying the Boy Scouts did better than I did?
Yes.
Anything is a dumpster.
Ask them how their shoulders are, because they still, yeah.
And the next one will be in April. We don't have the exact date yet, but April, at the end of the month, around Earth Day is when that one is likely to be held, so. I think that's all I have.
All right, moving on to introductions of ordinances and resolutions. 2025-37, a resolution authorizing the fiscal officer and/or village administrator to execute all documents necessary with Redantis for the purpose of engineering services for the sidewalk improvements in the village of West Lafayette. This is the third reading.
Motion to adopt resolution 2025-37.
Second.
Fisher?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Percy?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yep.
Jamie?
Yes,
2025-39, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. This is the third reading and it's an emergency.
Motion to adopt 2025-39.
Second.
Bauer?
Yes.
Jamie?
yes,
Percy?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Mueller?
Yep.
Fisher?
Yes.
2025-43, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the village of West Lafayette to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works State Capital Improvement and/or Local Transportation Improvements Program and to execute the contracts as required. This is the second reading. 2025-44, an ordinance to amend the village of West Lafayette's purchasing policy and repealing ordinances and resolutions in conflict therewith. This is the second reading. 2025-45, a resolution authorizing the fiscal officer and/or village administrator to execute all documents necessary with G&J Pepsi Cola bottlers, Inc., for the purpose of receiving full-service vending services for the village of West Lafayette, Ohio. This is the second reading. 2025-47, a resolution authorizing the Ohio Mid-Eastern Governments Association, OMEGA, and the village administrator to prepare and submit an application for the Land and Water Conservation Fund Program through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. This is the second. 2025-48, a resolution authorizing the mayor and/or village administrator to prepare and submit an application for the Abandoned Mine Land Economic Revitalization AMLR grant through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. This is the second reading. 2025-49, an ordinance amending the employee handbook for the Village of West Lafayette, Ohio, and repealing ordinances and resolutions in conflict therewith. This is the first reading. 2025-50, a resolution by the Council of the Village of West Lafayette, Coshocton County, Ohio, authorizing and directing the village administrator to submit a grant with the Ohio Department of Development for the Advanced Energy Fund Grant, and once the grant offer is received, further authorizing the village administrator to execute the grant contract and all related documents, and authorizing the Village of West Lafayette to accept any grant money awarded to the Village of West Lafayette and declaring it an emergency. This is the first reading, and it's an emergency. We're reading that in a second. Okay. I saw everybody looking this way. I appreciate that too. 2025-51, a resolution with the Council of the Village of West Lafayette, Coshocton County, Ohio, authorizing and directing the Village of West Lafayette, directing the village administrator to submit an application with the Ohio Department of Transportation for the Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, and once the offer is received, further authorizing the village administrator to execute the contract and all related documents, and authorizing the Village of West Lafayette to accept any money awarded to the Village of West Lafayette and declaring an emergency. This is a first reading and an emergency. I think we have 3 for that one, so we just put them up for 30 days now. With no other business, the bills have been approved.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Wheeler.
Yep.
Fisher.
Yes.
Percy.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
Cheney.
Yes.
With no executive session, I just need a
Wow. We're on that last second.
Us.
Cheney.
Yes.
Mauer.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Percy.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Wheeler.
So,
We're out of here.
call.
Here, throw that over there. Wait.
This one too.